Welcome to another episode of Council Bluffs Today. Hi, I'm Todd Studer. What you see behind me is Lake Manawa, and I am currently standing on the property of the Lake Manawa Sailing Association. Have you heard about them? We actually did a show about them last year when we had Carol and Teresa come on and actually went out onto the water a little bit. But this is an organization that encourages sailing on Lake Manawa, even has sailing classes here. Every last Saturday of April is Docks In Day, and I was invited out today. It is Saturday to watch how the process worked. There was probably 50 or 60 people here, all working together like a well-oiled machine. This was really something to witness. Here's a video of the dock going in. Yes, I sped things up a little bit because it actually took over 2 hours, but these guys worked very well together, got it in, the docks are in, the boats are out, and they are ready to have another wonderful season of sailing. Tell you what, let's go meet some of the folks that put the Lake Manawa Sailing Association together, and maybe we can find out a little bit why it is one of the best kept secrets in Council Bluffs. Teresa Silence is now joining us, and she is the person that kind of headed everything up on Docks In. You did a great job.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
And it was impressive watching this group of people work together. I'm assuming a lot of them have done it before because I didn't see a whole lot of instruction going on. Everybody just kind of dove in and contributed.
And I don't take any credit for it because a lot of them, as you said, already know what to do. The great thing about Docks In Day, this is the day that all the club members come together to help put the club together and get it ready for the sailing season. And so it's such a great event. Everyone gets so excited because we're going to be sailing soon. So it's really inspirational for people, and people haven't seen each other for a while. So it's a great social event. But every group has a lead that's experienced, and we also try and rotate people through so they learn other jobs. But yeah, everybody just pitches in, and anything needs done. People finish something, they come say, "What else do you need?" So it's one of those great community events where people just step in and get things done.
Well, there's a lot of things going on today that I wouldn't have thought of.
Oh yeah.
Someone was trimming the tree branches back
Yes,
to make sure that they weren't too far out. Someone, as the dock components were coming out of storage, they were right there to clean the leaves up that had been there from the fall to make sure that everything was all tidy and the way it needed to be. There was young people here.
Oh yeah.
That school-age kids that were helping getting boats ready. Everything about it to me, I'm standing back and I'm marveling about what's going on here.
Oh, it is amazing. It just all comes together in such a short period of time. We get, two sets of docks in, we get everything cleaned up, cut, leaves raked, the power boats are washed and serviced, all the sailing school boats get set up, the offices gets cleaned out. I mean, everything gets touched, everything gets taken care of, and people just step up and volunteer and just get it done. And it's a great event. And there's a lot going on. I actually I'm not the Docks In Day person. That's Dan. He had to go on a vacation today, but he did everything for coordination up to today and handed it off. But like I said, it's not a ton of work because people just step up and get everything done.
Well, and there also didn't really seem to be anything going on that people weren't looking forward to.
Yeah.
Every step of it,
Yeah.
Folks were laughing and they were talking with each other and just having a good time.
Yeah.
How everything went on. This is I had talked with Mary about it too. And you and I talked about this last year about how more people don't know about what you have out there because you're not keeping it a secret.
No,
it's not. It's not as if don't talk about Fight Club. It's not that. It's just for some reason, it's not that well known.
Yeah.
But you come out here and you see a whole bunch of sailboats on the lake. Chances are they came out. They
came out of here. Yeah. And we have members that aren't really that into sailing. You don't have to sail to be a member of the club and be part of the community. We welcome everyone that wants to come be part of the community, and you can go sail with other people. You don't necessarily have to learn how to sail, but you can ride along with other people or just come hang out. We do a lot of social events. So there's something for everyone, and it's just so great to be at the lake. Sometimes it's hard to leave. Like a Sunday after some racing, and we're just all sitting here going, "We should go home," and nobody wants to go home. Because it's just such a nice place to be, and everyone here is so welcome and friendly. I mean, there are some people it's their first time being in at Docs in Day. We have some people they just joined the club, and this is the first thing they came to, and they blended right in. Just you know, um, helping, and it's a great way to meet people at the club as well. Yeah.
On a from you can call it a technical side, I guess, but probably not really. And what I noticed when I went out on the water with you last year, the sailing is different than motorboating because you are really one with the lake, with the boat, with the wind. You have to be integrated into that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in order to be able to do it successfully, that's a different field.
It
It's
is.
an altogether
It
different
is.
field.
Motorboat, you just point it where you want to go and hit the power, right? And go. The sailboat, there's certain places you can't go. And so you have to respect that. And it teaches you patience because it's going to take you longer to get upwind, because you can't go directly into the wind. And so you have to learn to be patient, and you have to learn the feel of the boat. And it tells you everything you need, which is why for me, sailing is almost a form of meditation because it's a mind-body connection.
Yeah.
Where the longer you sail, the more you'll feel things before you even think about it. Your body will feel it, and you'll know to move the rudder.
Is that why everybody looks so happy here? I mean, really, you talk about therapy, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah, it
exactly
is.
what it is.
It is. It's for some people, it's a sport. They go race and they get to go out and get exercise and have fun. For some people, it's relaxation, socialization, go out with people on your boat and have fun. But there is this being in tune with the feel of the boat. And it takes time to learn that. It's not something you learn right away. Some people are more intuitive sailors than others, but that doesn't mean you're necessarily a better sailor. The people that maybe struggle, actually, they learn the physics and they learn the intellectual side first, and then they learn the feeling and become intuitive. And intuitive people can sort of sail, but they don't always know why they're doing what they're doing. And then they later learn the physics and understand why, because you need to understand why things are happening on the boat so you know what to do to react. And so it is a really great way, at least for me, to get that mind-body connection. You get really good at balance. Even if you're just sitting on a boat, the boat's constantly kind of adjusting and you're adjusting with it. So you get that aspect of it as well.
I think you personally, from what I can see, you get a lot out of the teaching.
Oh, I love teaching.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
to be able to pass that knowledge on and figure out, like you said, what is the best way for this particular person?
Yeah.
How are they going to respond to this? Yeah.
Yeah,
I can see that.
it is. I really enjoy part of it because I love sailing so much. So I'm like I want to teach this to other people so they can experience the joy and the fun and the relaxation, all those things. And also a lot of people, we recently a lot of people have been watching YouTube videos about sailing across the ocean, and that all starts here on a sailboat, a small 12-foot sailboat. Everything you learn there will translate up, and it's kind of whether people continue on to do that or just race or just sail for relaxation. It's sort of introducing them to that world of sailing, and that it's accessible, that it's not something. I think in the Midwest, sailing is not something we think about as something I'm going to do every day. On the coast, it's you put your kids in sailing like you put them in soccer, and here we don't do that. So I think for some people, they feel it's not accessible, that it's difficult or it's costly, and it's not. It's really not. You like here, if you become a club member, we have boats you can use. You don't have to buy your own boat, so you can get introduced to it, see if you like it, and then if it's something you enjoy, people continue and they come back. But it's just a great opportunity that we have here. We have a really good club here. A lot of lakes with sailing clubs don't have the facilities we do, and the opportunity. So I think we're very fortunate here to have this.
Yeah. Classes starting anytime soon?
Oh my gosh, our classes start in June.
Okay.
The Saturday class, I think, is the last Saturday in May, and then we run all the classes in June every Saturday morning, and then every Monday through Thursday, and we do 4 intro classes, and then we do a racing class, and then we have a Sail 2 class for getting more advanced. And that ends most of our sailing school. So we get the sailing school done early enough. Whoops, sorry. Get the sailing school done early enough. That means the food's ready. If we get sailing school done early enough, then people can join the club and use the boats that we have to continue to practice. Because we always say you need tiller time. That's how you really. We can teach you to sail. Taking more classes isn't going to help. You have to get on the water and just experience it and try things out and get comfortable. So there's an opportunity to do that because we have the boats available.
Well, listen, Teresa, thanks for your time. Thanks for your hospitality.
Oh yeah, thanks.
It's been wonderful, and to just be able to stand back and witness all of this, and hopefully we can help spread the word a little bit about.
Yes, please come out and just visit the facility. We're open. If you go to our website at the bottom, our hours for the summer on there, and you're welcome. We're open to the public. You can come in, walk around, chat with people. If you're interested in sailing school, just check out the webpage. We have everything on there. And yeah, we aren't trying to hide it. And we want you to come out and see it. And it's a great place to be. So really appreciate the time.
Well, perfect. Well, sounds like it's burger time.
Yes, it is. All right. Thanks.
Tired of hot rooms, harsh glare, and zero privacy? Tint Advantage has the solution. With advanced window film, you can cut heat before it even enters your home or business, reduce glare on screens, and keep your natural light in view. And with smart film, your glass goes from clear to private in seconds. Total control, right at your fingertips. Comfort, privacy, and efficiency, all in one upgrade. Visit tintadvantage.com and take control of your space today. If you have a leak, a clogged drain, or even if you're planning a big remodel, Waldstein Plumbing in Council Bluffs has you covered. With fast, reliable service and expert craftsmanship, handling everything from small repairs to major installations. They're locally owned and trusted and take pride in doing the job right the first time. Residential or commercial, big or small, when plumbing problems strike, they're the ones to call. Visit waldsteinplumbing.com. One of the members of the Lake Manawa Sailing Association is Mary Brooks, and she is with Windward Women, which is the women's group of the Sailing Association. Is that correct?
Yes, we started the group in 2020. What is this, 2026? I think it was 2020.
Okay. So right in the heart of COVID then.
Right before COVID. So it must have been 2019.
Okay.
So a couple of women came here from Texas, I believe it was, and they had a women's group in Texas, and they said, hey, let's start a women's group here. And some of the women here said, oh, we'll never get enough people. No way. So we started this 4-week series of basics on how to sail. And we had over 20 women come every single week.
Wow.
It was incredible. And we've just been going full steam ahead. They stayed about 2 years. They moved on, but the women's group has continued to grow.
It's just continued on. What do you feel are some of the things that you get from it of being a part of this women's group? That obviously you've got a shared love for sailing. So how is it that you just keep coming back to this year after year?
The women's group?
Yeah.
So what's really nice is when you are learning to sail, men are nice, they're fabulous, they have great qualities. But when women and men are sailing together, there tends to be the men will just kind of step in and do it.
Okay.
And a lot of people have to be doing the activity to actually learn it. To just watch somebody else do it, it doesn't become second nature.
Right.
And a lot of the stuff you're doing on a boat and with sailing and with trailers and all that kind of stuff, you need to have the muscle memory. So you have to actually do it. And men, generally speaking, not all men, but a lot of times they're just kind of like, oh, just let me do it, which is great. But then maybe the women don't learn it as much. And there's a little bit of self-esteem that comes along with trying.
Right.
And, oh, I didn't get it right. What did I do wrong? Go back, figure out what I did wrong, and then do it again and get it right. And women teaching other women, we just have a little more patience. And maybe we don't work as much with mechanical stuff as men do, generally speaking. So our learning curve's a little bit different. So with women teaching women, it's safe environment. It's very encouraging. Sometimes we're all kind of learning together sometimes. So that makes a big deal. There's also, we have some women in our group that don't want to sail. They don't want to be the sailors. They don't want to be at the helm.
Okay.
They just want to do the social part. and they just want to be a part of, but they don't want to have to know all that stuff. And so we have a place for those people too. And we always make room for everyone when we have what we call the first Friday sail and social, the first Friday of every month from 6 to 9. And we'll have people let us know who's coming ahead of time. And do you want to be on a small boat? Usually we take out the smaller boats, but we also can take out some cube boats if people just want to be on a boat, but not doing the helm.
Where did your love for sailing come from? Did you grow up with it, or is it later in your life that you learned?
My husband and I, well, actually, I took a sailing class when I was in college.
Okay.
So when we were dating, I actually took him sailing back at Standing Bear Lake when they had rental boats out there. But then our last kid had gone off to college, and I said, we need a hobby because so many people just get divorced because they don't have anything to,
Okay.
our kids were our everything, and I was a stay-at-home mom, so my kids really were my everything. And our last kid particularly was super busy, basketball, show choir, all these things. So that was our entertainment for the most part. So when she went off to college, we needed a hobby, and my husband said, hey, what if we get a sailboat? So what you don't have to do is buy a boat. You could join the club and then you can use our boats, but we didn't know that. So we bought a boat. We had no idea what we were buying. We ended up buying a racing boat, for the love of God, but it's fine. We learned.
You still have that boat?
We did. We got rid of that boat and we leveled up to a keel boat.
Okay.
That was a dinghy and it did tip over. So
When I came out here last year, I was amazed at what this organization is
oh, it's great.
and what this organization provides for people and the services and the affordability, everything about it. How is it that this isn't much more known than what it is? Because it just kind of flies under the radar out here, doesn't it?
Personally, I wanted to fly under the radar because, I mean, we need enough membership, obviously, but I don't know because it's like the best kept secret.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we have this huge family out here now and we all help each other. My husband and I were out here getting our boat cleaned up for the year. And, we're still new at the big boat and the waxing and all that stuff. And a couple of guys were out here like, oh, wait a second, you need to do this first. And we were skipping a step altogether. And we're like, oh, okay, you have to descale before you go waxing. And he's like, hey, I have the stuff. So he pulls out the stuff. So we use his stuff and get our boat all cleaned up. And then we went and we bought a new thing to get replaced. But it's like a family. It really is. It's
And
incredible.
how about with Docs in Day? How about, because this has been impressive watching what's going on here.
Look at how many people are here. I think that 40 people signed up to come today.
Yeah.
And I'd say more than 40 showed up. And people just pitch in. We try to have some organization, but people just pitch in if something needs to be done. There's a guy named Bob who is in the shop. And I said, oh, is that you drew the short straw? You get to clean the shop. He's like, no, I just noticed it needed to be done. And that's just the way the membership is.
I noticed it when I was here before, when there wasn't a large group of people like there is right now. There's a good feel here.
Yeah.
And the feeling stays.
Yes.
Even when this group of folks goes home for the day, that what you have created here is, it continues. And that's how you've got something special. And I think that it kind of feeds on itself. So as more people come in, they want more of that feeling.
Yeah.
And so they just contribute right into it. That's what you've done.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's kind of like you pay it forward.
Yeah.
So we were new. Of course, the first year we were here, we crashed into somebody's boat because that's just what you have to do when you're new. And, it happens. And we felt terrible, but we repaired their boat and you move on, and then somebody crashed into our boat and it's like, oh, it's fine. It happens. Everybody has an issue from one time and we all do it and we all laugh about it. Usually we laugh and move on and support each other. We had a guy last year who just totally demolished somebody's boat. And you know what? He paid for the damages. I think he ended up buying the boat. He had to buy it, but
Right.
whatever, and it's like, hey, how you doing with that? Oh, I'm feeling a little nervous. It's like, okay, why don't you come out with me? And then we just help each other get comfortable again. It's so great. It's really wonderful. So if you've been here a while, you help the people that are coming in. And when you're new, it's okay to make big mistakes because that's how you learn.
Well, you got one of the better views around
I know.
as you sit here. Isn't that something
It's beautiful.
I'm looking at? And on a day like today with a breeze and about, I don't know, 10 to 15, it's probably not even that strong, but it's just a beautiful day that you got to be able to do this. I'm assuming every year is not as the weather's not as nice as it is today, but this has been it's been a wonderful experience for me. And thank you for
Yeah.
coming over and talking about this with me.
You
This is
bet.
it's been an honor for me to just stand back and watch everybody else work. I felt kind of guilty because I was just making sure the camera was still going because I had about a 2-hour time lapse thing to do to watch the docks go in. But I got to see teamwork at its best, and you guys do wonderful work here.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Morning coffee supported by Bryce Taylor and GLI Insurance Group, serving Council Bluffs, Tabor, and Clarinda. Springtime in Iowa. A good time to take 5 minutes and make sure your home, vehicles, and anything you're pulling out for warmer weather are properly covered. Bryce and the GLI team live and work right here in our communities and are always happy to help you head into spring with confidence. GLI Insurance Group. Local service, all seasons. Good mornings start with peace of mind. My Nurse Healthcare provides professional in-home support where it matters most, helping individuals maintain comfort, dignity, and independence in their daily lives. Their experienced nursing team focuses on personalized care, clear communication, and supporting families through every step of the process. It is healthcare built on trust, compassion, and real relationships. Learn more at mynursehealthcare.com.
Joined now by Allie Scanlon, and she is the person to talk to when you want to learn about sailing because she's in charge of the school, right?
I'm the volunteer sailing school director.
Volunteer sailing school. What does that mean?
We don't get paid.
Well, the volunteer part, that I get, yes. But with the sailing school, what can people come out here and learn?
So our sailing school program, we can teach individuals from ground zero. You've never sailed before, or maybe you've gone out on a boat with somebody, but you know nothing about the terminology of sailing. You have no idea how to actually work a sailboat to make it go where you want it to go. We teach individuals the basics of sailing.
Now, I know that everybody's going to learn at a different pace. They're going to absorb things differently. But if someone was going to ask you, how much time should I commit to this until I have a fairly good proficiency at sailing, what would your answer be? About how long?
So our classes run for 4 days, about 12 hours of instruction.
Okay.
That's our classroom portion. And we get the students on a boat as quickly as possible, as early as day one of a class, if the weather permits. But we tell individuals everybody is different. So you need what we call time on tiller. So we can teach you in 4 days, 4 sessions of classes, but you may want to take a few more times out by yourself to feel comfortable enough to be able to take a friend out sailing or to go out and actually go around the lake by yourself.
It sounds then like this is, if I were to come in with no experience sailing at all, other than having been on a boat, that you're going to give me the basics and you're going to help me understand what this does and the terminology so I can talk about it. But when it comes down to getting good, that's entirely on me.
Exactly. So we do offer additional classes. So we do the introduction to sailing classes in 4 sessions, but we also offer a sail 2 building skills. We put you on a slightly bigger boat. We get you to become a crew member. How do you look around and share, what's going on around the boat with individuals or taking friends out on a boat? We offer that class in 4 sessions. And then we actually allow individuals that have become members of the club to take a boat out without having to pay for your own boat.
Do you have to be a member of the club to take the classes?
Absolutely not. So you can come take a class with the sailing school just because you're interested in sailing. But then we will offer you opportunities to expand your sailing experience.
I've talked with other people out here. Now I'm curious about you. Where's your passion from? Where did the passion for sailing come from?
So I learned to sail in 2015 in Hawaii. I was a military spouse and we were moving around and I'd always wanted to try it. I'd been in power boats growing up, but I also rode horses. I was a rodeo kid.
Okay.
So I liked the competition. I liked to go
Right.
fast, but I thought sailing might be interesting. So in 2015, I took my first class and I fell in love. The empowerment of trying to harness Mother Nature and the wind and the decision making and the freedom out on the water, I fell in love.
So you're learning all of that in Hawaii. So finding a place like the Lake Manawa Sailing Association in Council Bluffs, Iowa, was it a pleasant surprise? Did you seek that out and know about it before you got here?
So I sought it out immediately when we found out we were going to be assigned here
Yeah.
at Offutt Air Force Base. It was my first thought is I've got to be able to still sail.
Right.
And so I was pleasantly surprised to see that there were different opportunities for sailing in the local area within an hour's drive. But the Lake Manawa Sailing Association just really stood out to me because of their sailing school program. And I love to teach sailing.
Obviously, too, that this is different. Being on Lake Manawa is going to be a lot different than being in Hawaii, but at the same time, I'm sure it's got its own challenges, right?
It definitely has its own challenges. So the weather in the Midwest, it's constantly changing.
Yeah.
The wind does not blow from the same direction all the time, but you gain skills. You gain that confidence of what you have learned because the basics of sailing, it doesn't matter where you learn, that same foundation applies on any boat that you sail. So when you learn the parts of a boat, you learn about the points of sail and Mother Nature and how to make sure that you check the weather before you go out. You take those skills and you can apply them to any size boat.
Did the skills that you gained by sailing here, does it make you better in other places?
Absolutely, because the wind here, especially at Lake Manawa, is always switching. It's always coming from, different directions. It moves even, 20 degrees or in some cases 90, right? So you're having to change your thinking and be aware at all times with sailing. But at the same time, those basic skills of sailing, you just adapt and overcome. As we say, you adjust your sails.
Well, and everybody that I've talked to out here has that same passion that you do. There's something infectious about coming out here and learning about it. It makes me want to be a part of it. And I've never, like I said, I've never actually been in charge of anything on a sailboat before other than, oh, here's a margarita. So, that's my limit. But everyone out here just kind of instills that in you. I've seen coaches with that skill before, and that same feeling is here.
I would agree with you. I think that the club, that sailing community, that foundation of being around sailboats, and we have different styles of sailboats. We have everything from small dinghies that we teach on to we have catamarans, which are 2-hull sailboats, to we have up to 22 to 26-foot cruisers, and we can race. We can just go out for an evening cruise. There are lots of different possibilities once you know the foundation of sailing.
You get out and race?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It looks like a lot of fun, and I'm incredibly grateful that I was invited out here today to just witness what took place. This is a really, really cool day, and I was very thankful that I was able to be a part of it.
Well, we're glad you could come out. We hope that you'll be back to sail with us, and even to pick up more sailing knowledge. It is a great community and a wonderful opportunity, especially with some of our socials that we do throughout the summer, and we always involve sailing at some point.
All right, Allie Scanlon, thank you so much for your time, and thanks for a great day.
Thank you so much for coming out.
Let's learn a little bit more about racing at the Lake Manawa Sailing Association with Jesse Shoemaker. And I have not been out here for a racing event, but I've been driving by and seeing all of the excitement that's going on.
Sure.
It's pretty cool that this is happening here on Lake Manawa.
Yeah, I mean, really, Lake Manawa Sailing Association is kind of a hidden gem here.
Yeah.
And it's where I started sailing in 2018 and have done a variety of different types of racing. The nice thing about racing is it really helps you learn how to sail. And even if you know how to sail, it'll help you get a lot better. Because you have, rather than, there's nothing wrong with just kind of wandering around the lake. That's a lot of fun too. But when you're racing, you have a mission. And so you're trying to get to a particular place at a particular time. And so that forces you to figure out how to do that.
So this is it's just point to point kind of racing. Is that what it is, or is there like obstacles to go around or things like that?
Yeah, so there's a course.
Okay.
And so you'll have a start line, and the start line you'll have what we call a race committee. It's typically like a pontoon boat, and that's the people who run the race.
Mhm.
And then on the other side, there's a pin, just like a small buoy. We just call it the pin, and you have to go between those for the start line. And then that's often the finish line too. Depends on, like, for regattas, you might have a finish line is in a different spot, but for our typical races, that's the start and the finish line. So you go from the start line, and then you're typically going upwind first, and we have a windward buoy, and then we often will have one on the side that causes you to go at an angle relative to the wind, and then one that's downwind. We call that the leeward buoy, and there's different routes you can travel around those. So yeah, there's a few different variations, but you're having to go around those buoys to run the course.
Now, typically, how many boats are competing at the same time?
Yeah, so I would say here on our daily kind of typical race, it's probably like 5 to 7. But then when we get when we get into like regatta time, then you'll typically have over 20 boats
At the same time, out here?
At the same time. So
Really?
Yeah, and so you actually size the starting line such that you could fit all of those boats through the starting line at the same time. But it can get real interesting at the starting line. Yeah.
Is it, I mean, collisions, is that a common thing? Is it rare? From my vantage point, I would be oh yeah, that probably happens more times than you want.
So it'll kind of depend on the size of boat. So if you're on a small dinghy, that's not, the consequences are lower. And so I would say sometimes people
more chances,
a little more chances, right? Yeah. And then especially on a small boat too, you can see everything so well that you get a lot of confidence in your control of the boat and proximity to other boats. But as you get in bigger boats, the consequences and safety issues are higher. Impacts. You don't want to touch other boats as you get into bigger boats.
In a situation like that, are you asking that racers be at a certain experience level before they get out there?
Yeah, well, so that's actually a good lead in to talk about some of the different opportunities. So we have a sailing school. I think you probably learned a little bit about that already. We have a learn to race class, and so often people come in that way. For racing, another way that people learn is just crewing on another boat with another person. And so the nice thing about that is your role is somewhat limited, so it's not overwhelming your responsibility there initially. And so the reason I was going into that as far as experience levels, one of the courses that fleets we have is match racing. So you've got 2 boats of the same type, and it's got like a experienced captain, someone who's kind of moderate experience, and then a newer person. And so you always have people to help you as you're new, and then you rotate through different roles on the boat, like where you're at on the boat, whether you're at the tiller or helping manage the jib or throw up what we call it spinnaker. It's a big kind of billowy sail that you see when you're going downwind. So yeah, so it's a good way to ease in and get experience.
It seems that Lake Manawa Sailing Association has become a very comprehensive and a lot of things going on all at the same time to make sure that your members and anybody new coming in gets a full experience.
Yeah, really, it is pretty amazing. Like I said, I started in 2018. I started here, and I didn't just realize how special it is in terms of the opportunities available here. But I'm really glad that I started here. I actually have now sailed a lot of different places, and so in different types of racing, and then also just cruising. I like all kinds of boats, small boats, big ones, whatever. But really, it's hard to beat the convenience of this as well. Because if you're just getting started, it's also pretty nice because you can use a club boat, right? So like the low barrier to entry, and then everybody's just super friendly and helpful. And the racing scene here, at one point I was racing typically like 4 days a week.
Wow.
Because we've got a Wednesday nights sailing, we've got Saturday sailing, and that's for kind of our mixed fleet. One of our fleets is Snipes also. It's like a one design, all the same kind of boat, but then we sometimes mix in with another mixed fleet as well. Then we have cruiser racing on Sundays. I mentioned the match league where there's just the 2 boats, and that's on Mondays and Tuesdays. So, I mean, really, there's a lot of opportunity right there.
Does it get tough if, say, the lake is busy?
Oh,
you know, if you're on a weekend and it's a really nice day,
sure.
chances are there's going to be a lot of boats on the water.
Yeah, there is, and I would say everybody interacts pretty well, and you do have to be mindful of the other boat traffic that is part of sailing, but there's really enough space for everybody.
Well, I'm thrilled you took just a little bit of time to explain more about what it is you're doing. This is such a cool organization, and I'm glad to be out here today.
Well, happy to talk about it, and if anyone was thinking, well, maybe I would like to one day, but kind of felt intimidated. I mean, I was in the phase of, I would like to one day, and then, immediately I was hooked. And there's just tons of friendly people to help you out, and whether it's just kind of cruising around or racing, just checking it out. So I would encourage people to give it a try.
Well, thank you so much, Jesse. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much.